Welcome to the For the Boys Sports Podcast. I'm Joey Owsley. Today on the pod, we will discuss the headlines of the NFL week that was, including the Browns dominating the Titans, the Giants potentially being a good team, the Eagles quarterback situation, and the Patriots dropping the hammer on the Chargers. We'll also highlight some of the key matchups coming up in Week 15. That's next week. I have a fun segment at the end of the pod for us to do, but first, the Pittsburgh Steelers came into Week 14 with an 11-0 record and had a rather easy game versus the 4-7 Washington football team, with a couple of hard games still ahead, including this coming week's Sunday Night Football versus the Buffalo Bills. This was supposed to be the beginning of a push for the number one seed and a potential undefeated season for the Steelers. They took a convincing 14-0 lead at the end of the second quarter and went into halftime leading 14-3. Then Washington started to produce offensively, and the Steelers stalled, dropping what seemed like every other pass. Washington tied the game and ended up kicking the game-winning field goal with about 2 minutes left in the game and tacked on another field goal with a couple seconds left. The football team beat the Steelers 23-17 and ended the undefeated season. Bo, as the Steelers fan here, what say you?
I thought it was a very disappointing game. We started off very slow, picked it up in the second quarter. I felt like in the second quarter we started playing pretty well, back to the football we got. But as soon as halftime hit, we kind of just died. Everything, it was just horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want to disagree off the bat. Like, they weren't playing well in the first half. They were getting easy drives. Washington, I think, committed some penalties that got him there. Like, it wasn't convincing football from either team the entire way. But obviously, one team's 11-0 and one team's 4-7, so you have different expectations for what you think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, Billy, what do you think?
Steelers are trash, man. My Eagles would clap them. We already lost one, but we don't have to.
In Week 5?
You did not clap us. You did not clap us, buddy. I'll look at the score. You got a late touchdown, so we're not going to count that. I think you beat us by like 9.
Oh yeah, because points don't count in a game.
They don't. Steelers versus Eagles, 38-29. Look at your incredible defense, man.
Those are some riveting facts early on from Billy. Points don't count in a football game. What's next? Sky's green, grass is blue. Okay, Eddie, rather. What do you think? Steelers ending their undefeated season versus the Washington football team of all teams.
I mean, I don't think anyone really cares. The Steelers are still the Steelers. It doesn't really affect anything. They're probably, even if they don't get the first seed, they're probably going to win in the first round. And then
which is funny. We're still the 1 seed. Like, I don't care what everybody else says. We're still the 1 seed.
And then they'll inevitably lose to the Chiefs eventually. So probably. I don't think it really affects anything.
Chiefs did show a lot of weakness this week against the Broncos.
I think the Chiefs had an off game. I would put the Chiefs at
and you're saying the Steelers
sky high odds to win, because it's not like this Steelers issue was like a 1-game issue. It's not like this is like a throwaway game. This has been happening.
No, but
they nearly lost to the Ravens without Lamar Jackson.
It was most games. It was here, and then it was here. Like, the drop pass is Eric Ebron.
But we're not on camera. We're not on camera. We don't know what here is. But yes.
All I'm gonna say is the Eagles could beat the Redskins. Football team, but we weren't trying.
Hey, show some respect to our indigenous people. Billy,
are you saying that your football team never tries? Then are you saying that the Eagles never try?
No, we just didn't try.
So you're basically now making excuses for why you lost.
Tanking. We're gonna get Jamar Chase. We're tanking, dude.
You're tanking, yet you guys have the worst division in football. So
time out. Yeah, you guys were leading at like 3-5-1 in your division, and you're tanking for Jamar Chase. Like,
Yeah, notice that we
aren't there
haven't
like
Notice
better
that we haven't won
options?
since,
Like,
Joe.
maybe you need like an offensive tackle because Carson Wentz keeps getting hit every
Yeah.
time, or like
Or a wide
maybe
receiver.
Or a new
nah.
quarterback. Because
Joey,
Carson
Yeah,
Wentz is
or a new
cute.
quarterback. Yeah.
Jalen Hurts all the way.
Okay.
We picked a rugby player in the 7th round, and he is like the second highest PFF of offensive lineman. I don't think we have to pick one in the first round. 'Cause the
Mailata?
last time
I
we
think
did
you
that,
still
he
need
sucked.
one. You still definitely need one.
Yeah.
No, I think you definitely need one, but I think the issue is that, like, between the Eagles' issues and their strengths, there's not much to build on. Like, it's not like you're coming from a ground support.
They're
like,
just bad.
Oh, like, yeah, exactly. It's not like coming from a ground support of, like,
No, I
they have a great defense. It's like, no, they have a pretty bad defense. Their offense is like the worst in the league. Those aren't stats. That's just me watching the game. So it's not like you can't like okay, we're good on the defense. We're gonna build from the ground up. It's like there's
Here's
no
our
ground to
issue,
stand on. Like,
Joey, here's our issue. Our
But
quarterback's
any-
a legend.
anyways, we're already off topic.
Our quarterback
The
won
Steelers.
an
We're
MVP.
talking about the Steelers.
Right.
I don't know, Billy. If you're gonna rope everything into the Eagles, you should just like
I
make your own
agree with
separate
that your
podcast or
quarterback is
something.
now a bench quarterback behind
Shut up,
Jalen Hurts.
shut up, shut up.
So,
Joey.
We're
that's
gonna
all I'm
talk
saying.
about that
Guys,
later.
We're
So
talking,
let's
we're
save
talking
that.
about
Yeah.
that later in the
Listen.
pod more in depth.
Fine, yeah. We'll leave it to
Washington
later.
football team. Washington football team 5-7, tied with the Giants at the top of the NFC East. Giants have won 4 straight, and we're talking about that in just a minute. But the football team, I don't know if like because they don't have the momentum the Giants do, but I think they have a better team personally.
They definitely have the momentum by
You know
beating
what-
the only
what's funny?
undefeated team. They just beat the only undefeated team, and you're saying that they don't have momentum.
But
You
no,
know what's funny?
I mean, you don't have the momentum of 4 games straight, but you definitely, yeah. But I
Pretty
agree,
sure
you
they
have
had
that
the
momentum,
3-game
and
win streak.
I think like if you like go like position by position, I think you got a better team. Like Terry McLaurin, a wide receiver, he's great. I don't see like one like amazing wide receiver for the Giants. Like,
Wide receiver, or the football team, quarterback, football team, running back, football team, only because Saquon's out.
Ugh.
Defensive line,
Kinda
definitely the football team.
I mean,
Secondary,
yeah.
maybe Giants because the secondary for the football team has been so plagued with injury.
Maybe, but I mean, they're not bad. Like, not that bad, you know. When you're talking about the NFC East, not bad is like 5-7, which is right where they are now. Like, I always thought all along that like 5 wins, maybe 6 wins, was going to be able to win the NFC East. You got 2 teams that are right there with 3 weeks left to go. Yeah, Billy.
They're really pushing
I
it, going
just-
for 7 wins.
I just
Yeah.
like to point something out.
Yeah.
The Redskins beat the only undefeated team in the football team. They beat the only
Oh my
undefeated
word,
team
Billy.
in the league. I'm sorry. And their quarterback is a paraplegic. That's how sad it is to be a Steelers fan today. I love it. Dude. I love it.
Dude, that's terrible. We're gonna have to cut that.
Billy, you're so bad.
Still not sad when we're 11-1,
I mean,
sitting in a
But, like,
first round
like,
bye.
legitimately, like Alex Smith has a hamstring for a
He's
calf.
a legend.
Like literally, that's what his calf is. He nearly died.
I mean, it is
17
also sad that
surgeries.
your team is
I
literally
know.
tanking to get a no name. So
Jamar Chase
is not a
isn't a
no-name.
no-name. He was not a no-name when he had Justin Jefferson on his team, who the Eagles also
Yeah.
passed on. Like, this is not like
We
some
have to,
complicated
no-name this year.
formula.
He's
There
definitely
were
a
wide
no-name this
receivers
year.
on the. There were wide
looking at
receivers.
LSU, he's a no name this year.
Yeah, LSU is definitely a no-name this year. They're not doing anything
Listen.
on offense. But I mean, just look at who the Eagles passed on. Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk's playing well for the 49ers. They were just on Monday Night Football. Like,
I have some.
I wouldn't say
you
the
guys
Niners
missed
are
on
playing
targets. I
well.
don't think Jalen
We'll talk
Rager's.
about this. We'll talk about this more when we get to the Eagles, okay? Because I have a lot of things to say.
Okay, yeah, I know. Billy's gonna go off. Okay, so finish that off with just saying Pittsburgh plays the Bills next week, so that's going to be another tough matchup. With the Chiefs looking pretty good and looking like they could potentially win out and maybe get to 14-1 or 15-1, or at least 14-2. Pittsburgh really can't afford to lose anymore because you got the Bills next week, and I believe they got they have the Browns down the line. Those are
Browns.
two. I know. Those are two good teams, and so
Dude, that can't be on the bottom of the screen.
It's not. No.
Okay,
you have to
okay,
put it in slide.
but yes, Football team beats Pittsburgh 23-17, ends the undefeated season. Okay, let's move on. Browns dominated the Titans, both sides of the ball. They beat them 41-35, though there were a lot of garbage time points in this game. There's 41-28 through most of the game. That's basically Browns were up 2 scores like the entire game. They moved to 9-3. Tennessee moves to 8-4. Technically, the Browns are still alive in the hunt for the division simply because you can beat the Steelers. Like if the Browns win out,
no, they
you
can't.
can finish
They
13-3.
can't.
You beat the Steelers.
No.
The Steelers are at least
No, they can't.
13-2.
They literally can't. They can't beat the Steelers.
I think it's possible. Yeah.
I think it's
Oh,
definitely
it's possible. Last game, what was it? 35-3.
I don't.
Dude, they're a better team now.
Yeah, they're definitely a better team. I don't think you can look at that. But I'm gonna go
Yeah,
to Eddie.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna go to
we
Eddie
are-
first.
we are-
Eddie
we
first,
are a
the
worse
resident
team
Browns
'cause we've
fan.
lost
What's
like
your
half our secondary. So
Dude.
Okay, we'll
All right,
go into
talk.
that. Eddie, as a resident Browns fan, 41-35. It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the game was not as close as the score made it seem, but we kind of knew that this was going to happen. I mean, Baker's the boy, and they just needed a little bit of time to get the offense clicking, And once they did, the whole AFC, they're not looking
Watch
so happy.
out.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when they're
let's look
playing
at
like this,
You
when
beat
they're
the
playing like
Bengals by
this with
3.
Baker, dude.
You beat the Bengals by 3. You lost to the Raiders. You beat the Texans by 3. You beat the Eagles by 5. You beat the Jaguars by 2. Is your offense
So?
really clicking?
A win's a win, and obviously the offense was clicking when they had was it
the
38
Browns-
points in the first half? Was it 38 points in the first
It
half?
was something like that. And the
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Jags game that beat the Jags by 2. That was kind of trash. They had a terrible roughing the passer call. The Jags scored a garbage time touchdown. That was a 2-score game the entire way. It actually ruined a lot of bets for a lot of people. Because when Jacksonville scored that touchdown, Browns were covering at that point, and then they were not. So you said already the Steelers would not lose to the Browns. Why?
No. Because the Browns are overrated. They're frauds like the Bears.
What are you
Actually,
talking
now
No.
the Bears know.
The
Everybody
Bears
knows that the
started
Bears,
5-1,
the Bears
and
are
since then
frauds.
they've lost like 10 straight games.
Let's see. They lost to the Steelers by 31. They
Remember
lost.
Fluke,
They lost to the Raiders and they lost to the Ravens. They
Yeah, that
really
was the
played
very
nobody.
first game of the season.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Okay,
with
but
the
they
new
still
coach,
play
a
the
new
Ravens
offensive
and the
system?
Steelers. Like you guys have such an easy schedule. You guys play
Listen.
the Jets, the Giants, the Jags, the Eagles, the Texans, the Bengals twice, the Cowboys.
Before you
football
go on,
team.
you know who does that too? The Steelers.
Yeah, but the Steelers don't play the Jags or the Jets.
Yeah, the Steelers actually play the Jags.
When do we play the Jets?
Because you played you played the Texans, the Titans. You guys play the Colts. Colts coming up later this season. So
Yeah.
that's like your AFC set. That's like your AFC division that you play. So you guys have either played Jacksonville or will play Jacksonville at some point in the season. The Jets, I don't think you guys played the Jets.
Oh no, I thought you said Jets. Oh no, yeah, we played the Jags.
Yeah.
We already played the
Joey,
Jags.
Joey,
Yeah.
I'd like to have a take of my own here.
Okay, Joey.
I think the Browns offense is 10 times the Steelers if
I agree.
and only if Baker Mayfield is on his progressive mode, right?
He's getting that chicken
Listen.
soup.
He's got OBJ. He's got Jarvis.
No, he
Landry.
doesn't have OBJ anymore.
He doesn't have OBJ.
You
No
can make
OBJ.
an argument that
He
they're
doesn't
better
have
without
OBJ.
OBJ. Oh,
Never has OBJ.
Oh yeah, you
Nobody's
can
trash.
definitely say that. Yeah.
I think it was week one.
Honestly, OBJ is horrible.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield doesn't need it.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think
This is why nobody
Nicholas
listens to
Chubb.
Billy.
Nicholas Chubb, he's pretty good at football.
pretty good
I
as
don't
an
know who
understatement.
do you guys
I'm
still have
looking-
David Njoku?
I don't think his
like
name's-
David Njoku.
He's formerly referred to as Chubby, so just keep that in mind.
Who's your
I'm
tight
look-
end?
I'm
now?
looking up.
Do you have David
Oh,
Njoku?
you're right. Nicholas Jamal Chubb. There you go.
We have Hooper as a tight end, but
Oh
he had
yeah,
some.
Austin Hooper,
He was killer for my
fantasy
fantasy
legend.
team last year. He was
fantasy
awesome.
legend.
Yeah,
he was so good last year. Like a touchdown every game. Matt Ryan loved him.
You go to the other side of the
and now
ball.
I have Travis
right?
Kelce. So
Miles Garrett.
yeah.
Every Pittsburgh quarterback is afraid of him, right?
for good
I'm
reason.
not wrong.
That's the only player you
I'm
can
not
name
wrong.
on the Cleveland defense.
No,
I mean,
no,
they got
I-
Denzel Ward coming back soon from an injury. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
Denzel
he's good.
Ward.
Denzel
Very
He's-
fast.
he's good.
Denzel Ward's very
He's
fast.
good.
I'm
Yeah,
so
Bo, I
scared.
don't
He
understand.
would
What,
You
outrun
got
Chase
Ogunjobi.
Claypool without his
Ogunjobi is
eyes
a
open.
beast.
Bo, I don't understand what your
Ogunjobi
point is. The
sounds like
Steelers just
that sounds
lost
like
to
an
the
off-brand
Washington
OBJ.
football team.
Ogunjobi sounds like an off-brand OBJ.
No, yeah, Bo, the Steelers just lost to the Washington football team. They look bad, drops or not. They're not moving the ball. Those drops were for 4 yards. They weren't for like 50-yard
We
touchdowns.
don't look good yet. We're still 11-1.
Hey,
I don't
hot
get
take.
that.
Hot take.
Oh,
Chase
have you not
Claypool's
watched
a
the other
bust.
games? This loss was coming for weeks and weeks. Steven Gostkowski missed a 45-yarder center cut. If he just makes that, you guys go to overtime after leading by like
This is
17
a new
in
kicker.
Tennessee.
We have a brand new kicker. That was his first game. Or second game, I think, actually.
He tried him out for 2 extra points and he made both of them.
Wow. He made 2 extra points. What is that? Like 25, 30
when
yards?
did anybody ever bring up your kicker? Who cares?
Did you not just bring up our kicker?
No, I
Did
brought
you
up the
literally
fact that
not just
Steven
bring up our kicker?
Gostkowski from the Titans missed a 45-yarder to send it to overtime versus the Steelers. That was the
Yeah,
beginning.
because we literally turned off in the second half because we were up by what, 25
When
at
you're an
halftime?
undefeated
So we
team,
didn't
you
really
can't
want
turn
to try.
off. You'll lose a game
so you guys
eventually.
give up?
Like, that's not the way.
Yeah,
You
it's
guys
like
are
we
playing
didn't
one
give up. We turned off because we
the
didn't need
entire
to.
season.
You guys
play
are
the-
We
when you
didn't
play
need
the-
to keep going.
If you play
Oh
one
my
half of
God.
if you play one half of football versus the Chiefs, you know what that means? That means you lose, and you probably lose by like 40. So like the Chiefs are so much better at this point. And you gotta find. Well, first you gotta play 2 halves of football.
Even
Second, you've got
though
to
they
not give
only
up
beat
23
they
points
only beat the
to the
Broncos by
Washington
what,
football
6?
team who don't have a name, like, and don't have a quarterback with his shin as his hamstring. Like that should be the base level for you guys being considered a real Super Bowl threat. Like,
I think
I
this
still
should
don't
just
get
be
this, why you guys
renamed the
always-
Alex
you
Smith
always come
Disrespects Pod.
no,
I
that's what I'm
don't
saying.
know why.
Alex Smith's awesome. Like the guy,
I don't
the
get
guy
this, why you
had
keep
blood
bringing
coming
up
from his
that
ankle.
it's bad for the football team to not have a name. Like you act like that just downplays their level.
No,
Oh.
what I'm saying is like
Alex
they have
why
so
do you
many
keep
other
the
saying
guy
issues
that
to
that
doesn't
deal
make
with.
sense?
Like,
was missing a leg and his other ankle, and you still lost to him.
that's
Are you
the
saying
point.
that Alex Smith is mobile? He needs to be moving? What, he does 3 steps drop
No.
and then he throws
Big
it.
Ben definitely isn't mobile, and he didn't have all those surgeries. I'm just gonna say.
Bo, do you know why he didn't have to move? Because the Steelers got no pass rush on him.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
No pass rush. No, did you really just say no pass rush?
Like 0, Bo. On that touchdown to Logan Thomas, not only was Logan Thomas wide open, Alex Smith stood in the pocket for like 5 seconds. Like, he's wide open, touchdown.
Because I'm pretty sure I think we only rushed 3. It's a 3-on-5.
I don't think you guys rushed 3 on like.
Yeah, I think we did I think we had a
in the
cover
red
6.
zone, Bo. I doubt it.
I think we had a cover 6.
Yeah, there's 11 players on the football field, Bo. Cover 6.
Yeah, but we had man.
You
We
could go like the
dropped
Jets
6
and run
and then we
cover
had
0.
man.
We cover 6.
Yeah,
No,
we
I
could
mean
have
yeah,
man,
done
bro.
that.
We had man.
We should have
We
done
had
a cover
man.
0.
The Jets. I saw a tweet that said like it would be great if that's Greg Williams' last defensive play call, cover 0 in the Hail Mary situation, and that's how he would have wanted to go out.
Well, I was watching First Take the other day, and I thought it was great because the analysts were pretty much just like, "Oh yeah, that's Greg Williams, no problem," you know. Like it's probably one of the worst
was
calls
the
you've ever
Browns-
seen.
Who
They're
was
like,
the Browns'
"Oh,
interim
Greg
head
Williams."
coach? Who the Browns wanted to be their head coach?
I mean, I can just say we dodged a bullet there.
He was actually a good defensive coordinator for you guys. Okay. Moving on. Giants are a good team, I'd say. They've won 4 straight, 5-7. Just beat the Seahawks in Seattle. Like,
You guys think the Giants are a good team when they don't even have a winning record, yet you guys think the Steelers are a bad team when they're 11-1.
Steelers suck.
What's your
Steelers
logic?
trash.
I don't get your logic.
He didn't say they're a bad team. He just said they're not.
No,
they're
no,
good.
he did. He actually
I
did.
said they're not Super Bowl contenders, Bo.
No, you
Bo.
said they're not good.
Giants versus Steelers. Giants win every time.
Oh, like how they won this year?
I mean, that's just
I mean, Giants haven't
A
won 4
fluke.
straight.
But you
Bo.
said they win every
Yeah.
time. I don't get your logic.
well, they win every time, and besides, like, if they don't try.
Besides
So
every
that's not
time.
every time.
Okay. Okay. Giants beat the Seahawks. They came off to a bad start. They didn't even play offense for the first half. I think halftime was like 5-0 maybe. Came out in the second half, busted a couple big runs. I'm not going to talk about the Seahawks not being a good team or losing a lot, and Russell Wilson looking potentially like he's broken. But we'll get to that later. I think the Giants can make a push to win the division. I think the Redskins are better set up for the playoffs. Like I don't think the Giants would like if the Giants would play who's top seed in the NFC right now?
Dude, it doesn't matter who's better set up for the playoffs. They're both gonna lose.
I think they both will lose, but I think there's going to be a larger issue. Like if we're talking about like Tampa Bay, who's been so like who's fluctuating, like you don't know if they're going to come out good or bad. I think they would beat the Giants easily every time. I think they would struggle with the Redskins a couple of those times. Like,
You know what's funny is that
football
I,
team.
I love how Brady's good when he has no wide receivers, but now when he actually has wide receivers, he's like not even a top 10 quarterback right now.
Hey, Carson Wentz.
That's not funny.
No,
It's not funny.
but the reason I actually and we're gonna get to the Bills later, but I'll hit on this really quick. I think it's all play calling. Like, I legitimately think it's play calling. You're making the guy do 3-step drops, stand for 2 seconds, and just feed the ball downfield with his eyes closed. You're not gonna win football games doing that. Like he's
Who,
gonna have
Tom?
interceptions.
Who, Thomas?
Tom, yeah, like that's the
Yeah,
reason.
okay.
That's the reason why Jameis went 30-30 last season. Is because eventually, when you throw some of those balls downfield, they're gonna hit, but a lot of them are gonna be picks. Like Bruce Arians is making Tom Brady throw into double coverage half the time he steps out in the field.
Yeah, but Tom Brady's not recognizing it. He could throw it away every time, or he could
No.
scramble.
But that's how the Bruce Arians offense
Tom Brady
works.
and scramble doesn't
Okay,
really
he's
work.
not scrambling, first of all. But that's how the Bruce Arians offense literally says, like, if there's a chance for a play downfield, do the play. It's like that's the read. It's like 3-step drop, 5-step drop, look downfield, like look way downfield first, and then come back short. Like if he sees something that's potentially open, that's just the offensive scheme, and it doesn't work. Like this is the way it's been with Tom Brady, Jameis Winston, Carson Palmer. Like this is not a new thing. Everybody expected this, and we just somehow didn't realize it was going to be like we thought we were going to get Jameis Winston without the interceptions, and what we got, and we should have been expecting just a couple less interceptions because it's the same offense with mostly the same skill players, same result. But
Can we talk about that real quick? How Jameis Winston, technically the best quarterback last season, threw the most touchdowns, is now a third-string quarterback behind a running back.
He also threw
he's
the
not
most
a running back,
interceptions.
though. He's a tight end.
But he also ran. Taysom Hill, you're saying Taysom Hill, he has
Don't
more
try to
rushing
fit his
touchdowns
name
than he
as
does
well.
passing touchdowns. I don't get what's your logic?
Because he didn't play quarterback for like 5 weeks of the season or 3 weeks of the season or up until these last 3 weeks. I mean, like,
Oh,
of course he's not
he
gonna have
threw
a
30
pass touchdown. They're not
touchdowns.
gonna
How
throw
did it
a
work
clean
out for the
every time they
Buccaneers?
want to throw the ball. Like that's because he can play other positions doesn't mean that he's like he played quarterback in college. He played quarterback at BYU. Okay. So Giants beat the Seahawks, and moving on, staying in the NFC East. Jalen Hurts started for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles' quarterback situation is looking a little dicey, but not now that Doug Peterson came out. We're recording this. We are recording this Wednesday, so it was just yesterday, Tuesday, that Doug Peterson came out. Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, and Billy is the Eagles fan. I'm assuming you have thoughts.
Yeah. Doug Peterson should be fired. Miles Sanders before last week, I'm pretty sure, because they didn't play that good last week. But before last week, he was okay. He was
Okay, for those of you who can't see the screen, which is everybody listening to this podcast, Bo sent a chat that said, "Billy is in love with Carson Wentz. He has an obsession." And I think that's
There's a bunch of other stuff too that we probably shouldn't be.
Yeah. Because but like it is true. Like Billy definitely has an obsession with Carson Wentz. Because for the first 10 weeks, he's done nothing to earn that love and obsession. So I mean,
Joey,
continue.
let me have my time.
Have your time.
So
I'm reclaiming my time.
So before last week, Miles Sanders, he was averaging 6.2 yards per carry, which is second in the league, right? We run him like 10 times a game. So Doug Peterson's play call's trash. Um, what else? Howie Roseman, our GM, is an idiot. Um, he doesn't know what he's doing. He makes last year the trade deadline. We had nobody. He picks a random right end. That's who we're gonna trade for. Last year's draft.
You
And,
picked Jalen Rager instead of Justin Jefferson.
No. I not that was this year. Last year, instead
you're
of
right.
picking DK Metcalf, we go with JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Everybody knows that guy. And then instead of picking Justin Jefferson,
Billy,
we picked
you
Jalen
were the one saying how great JJ Arcega-Whiteside was,
I never
and even
said
though he had
that.
so many drops in college and like he never really caught any
I never
passes.
said that. I never
That
heard
how
of
he's gonna be some
JJ
amazing red zone
Arcega-Whiteside.
target
I
every
never
time.
heard of
No,
it.
Billy, I'm gonna call you out on your cap. That's
Billy,
cap right
he
there.
had
I'm gonna
one
call you out.
Who
touchdown
was
last
JJ
year.
Arcega-Whiteside?
The guy
Look
that you've been saying the
look,
last
6'5" guy
five
from
I will
years.
Stanford.
show a picture of him, and it will make you laugh because the kid's ugly. How can you be ugly and play football?
Billy, I'm gonna send that to him.
Billy, I can think of a lot of examples. Like,
Yeah.
I think the Hurts situation is interesting because I've been advocating for Hurts for weeks because they just don't have any future with Wentz. Like, you can't get rid of Wentz, but you can definitely make him. Billy just showed a picture of
That's a star receiver, boy.
You just called him a star receiver, even though you
mean,
kept
he's
calling
not a
him
star
trash.
Called
receiver,
sarcasm,
for sure.
though.
Okay, but anyways, back to my point. Like you can't get rid of Wentz because of the money, but you can definitely say, like, buddy, like, wake up, because if you're gonna at least be on our team for the next 2 years, we need you to either show up or just get out. Like, because they have a dead cap situation where they can't really afford to cut him or like whatever. But I mean, you can't keep starting him when he's throwing 2 interceptions a game. Like,
Here's the thing: he has no help, and he played better last year with no help,
Dude.
so he regressed. But
he definitely regret.
like,
Definitely
let's think
regressed.
about this, Joey. Let's
This
think
is
about
literally
this,
all
Joey.
Eagles fans.
Joey,
Because
let's
Carson
think
Wentz
about
had that
this.
almost MVP. Emphasis on
He had that almost
They
MVP
He would have.
season.
He would have been MVP.
That's
But
the
was
point.
he?
I
He
think
would
he
have been
still should have
MVP.
been MVP. His stats were better than.
Was he?
Okay, guys. Also, by the way, Carson Wentz has never won a playoff game. He has never played in a playoff game.
He's
because
never
he's
played a
gotten
full
hurt
playoff game.
every single. Oh, he has played in a playoff game. He played one half and got himself hurt versus the
Yeah,
Seahawks.
because Davion Clowney drove the
I
guy's
know,
head into
I
the
know.
ground.
I know, but Nick Foles, like, I was advocating way back when. Keep Foles, cut Wentz. You guys pay Wentz an arm and a leg, and now you guys can't cut off that arm and a leg because they'll give you $64 million dead cap over the next couple of years.
Listen,
That's the
Joey.
issue.
Let's just talk about what he has. So we lost right tackle Lane Johnson. He's basically a Pro Bowl every year. Right guard Brandon Brooks.
He always
He's
gets hurt.
almost always top 5 PFF.
Yeah, when he's not out with an ACL every year.
Eat mine. Right. Jason Kelsey's the only one that ever stays healthy, and he's a run blocker. He's not a pass blocker. I don't know who our left guard is. I couldn't tell you.
Mailata, Jason Peters.
That's our left tackle, and Jason Peters is trash. I don't know why we brought him back. He's gonna make the Hall of Fame, but he's like 38. I think he's 38.
He's very old.
Why do we have a guy walking around with a cane on our offensive line? I don't understand. And then Zach Ertz was trash this year. I hope we trade him and get like something in return, like picks or something. Dallas Goedert should be re-signed. He's an absolute god.
But this is the reason why I said stick with Foles, because you actually had an offensive strategy with Foles. Like his connection with Ertz was so good, and not only did he win you
so was Carson
playoff game you've played in the last 5 years.
Ertz has had the most receptions in a regular season last year, and now I don't think he's caught more than 2 balls in one game.
Yeah, because that was Foles. Like Wentz.
That was not Foles.
Wentz never had a good connection with Ertz.
That was not Foles. Foles played like 5. No, not even 5. He played like 3 regular season games for us when we won the Super Bowl, and that's the only.
And then won you 3 playoff games,
the point being there, he won the Super Bowl.
And then he
What's
upset.
Your point?
Because our team is
the next year, Carson Wentz goes down. He upsets the Bears in Chicago with the whole double doink thing. Then they go to New Orleans, and if Alshon Jeffrey doesn't drop that pass in New Orleans, they probably beat New Orleans, and they're to the NFC Championship games, like the 6th seed or whatever they were.
Yeah, we were beating New Orleans.
You were going to beat New Orleans. So with Nick Foles. Earlier in the season when Carson Wentz, they lost 47-9. And then they
Yeah, I
nearly beat
remember
New
that.
Orleans with Nick Foles, and they would have if Alshon Jeffrey didn't drop that pass. So I mean, what's your argument? Like, how is Wentz this like magical quarterback that cannot be beat by any other quarterback Philly's had in the last like 50 years? Because he's not.
He-
He's not that good.
He was
He's
good in
not that fast.
2017.
He's
You
not
can't
that
dispute
strong.
me
He
there.
doesn't have a great arm. So why do you want to keep him?
He doesn't have a good arm.
No,
Okay, Joey.
Okay, well.
Or Joey. That's
he doesn't.
He
He
has-
does not have a good arm. He has an average arm.
Can I just say that everyone likes to hate on Baker, but really Baker deserves so much less hate than Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I mean, at least Carson Wentz doesn't
Oh,
get
yeah.
doesn't get a bunch of
I mean-
progressive commercials. Carson Wentz isn't walking around looking for the key to the stadium.
Listen. Listen.
Can we just
that's
agree
that's
that
the issue. I mean, Baker did deserve hate, but Carson Wentz also does. And he
Carson
doesn't get
Wentz
it.
deserves
He
so
has
much hate.
too.
I mean, the guy's a Christian,
Yeah,
and I very much
had
respect that.
Okay,
Instagram,
you're,
you'd
Billy,
see it.
Billy,
If
you're
you
living in a
had
bubble right now.
Instagram, you'd
You're
see
living
it.
in your own little bubble over here, and then the rest
Literally
of the world
every
is going on with their
Instagram
daily
post from
life.
NFL pages are how bad Carson Wentz is.
Because he is. Because he's played
Yeah,
like
he is.
trash this
He
year.
is trash this
Because
year.
he's good enough to get benched to a
So
second-round
why do you?
quarterback.
I don't get this. You just admitted to him being trash, and now you're saying that
Come on.
he should still start over Jalen Wentz.
over
Wentz-
Jalen
God.
Wentz.
Jalen
Yeah, not
Wentz.
Jalen Wentz, I love that.
I mean,
Jesus.
Jalen
I don't
Hurts
think there's
isn't
any
that
other
good.
option than to
Okay, guys.
start Jalen Hurts.
Guys,
Because right now, you're looking at if you need a quarterback in the draft, if you need to maybe move up in the draft and grab a quarterback next year,
He doesn't need. They
or
don't
if
need a
Jalen
quarterback.
Hurts
They
is
need
the
wide
quarterback of
receivers.
the future. Dude,
guys,
you definitely
okay,
need a new quarterback. I'm
Okay,
just
guys.
saying.
So Carson Wentz, right?
Joey,
He
look
played
at what
thir-
I'm
he played
putting
thir-
up. Look what Joey.
I don't care. I don't care.
Billy, shut up.
I have my own
I'll
stats.
read it for you.
Shut up,
The
Billy.
Eagles will more likely than not try to trade
that-
Carson Wentz this
In that
offseason.
great 2017 season, the great Carson Wentz, he was going to win MVP. 13 games, right? He played 13, got injured in week 14 versus the Rams. 3,200 yards, nearly 3,300 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, right?
Yeah, 33 touchdowns.
With a quarterback rating of
In 13
with a
games.
quarterback rating of 77. 77, it's not bad.
That's not
2020,
bad.
he's played 12
What was his
games.
passer
So
rating?
I don't know. It doesn't have. Yeah, it does. 101.
Yeah, that's good.
Pretty good passer rating, right? 2020, he's played 12 games, right? Basically the same thing. 2,600 yards. He's not making that up in the game. 16 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. I mean, with a passer rating of 72 and a QBR of 49, Billy, this is not close.
When did
Oh,
I
did
say
someone
he was
just-
as good as he was in 2017?
Would you? Because that shows the regression. You say, he was so good.
I
He
said
nearly
he
won the MVP in 2017. He nearly won the MVP in 2017, and he's nowhere near doing it this year.
Yeah, he sucks this year.
You make such a stupid logic. Like,
No, Joey. Carson Wentz is better than Jalen Hurts. Carson Wentz is trash this year.
Carson Wentz is playing worse than
let's
Jalen
think
Hurts.
about
So why do you
why is
still
he
want
trash this year,
Carson
Joey?
Wentz to start? Your logic doesn't make sense. At the
Yeah,
start
I
of
don't
this
want him to
argument,
start. I
you
don't want him
literally
to
said
start,
how
but
you
I
want
think he's
Carson
better
Wentz
than
to start,
Jalen
and now you're saying how Jalen Hurts is better than Carson Wentz. I don't get this.
Howie Roseman and Doug
Because Eagles
Peterson have
fans are weird,
failed
though.
Carson Wentz. Okay, Carson Wentz, MVP season. He played so good, lights out.
Not anymore.
Everybody's like, "Wow, look at that guy!" And then here's what happened: they put in Nick Foles. He wins a Super Bowl. He's like, "Dang, I could have done that." And then
But he
and
couldn't
then
have.
next year happens again. But then they got
He
rid
gets
of
hurt
Nick
again,
Foles.
and Nick
Yeah,
Foles
no,
nearly
no,
leads
no, no, no,
nearly
no.
leads him to a
What,
Super
the
Bowl.
MVP season? No, he did not play. That was his only good season. The one that they won the Super Bowl is only good season. Every other season, he's been average at best.
Well, yeah, the Eagles weren't making the playoffs until Nick Foles won like the last 3 games of the season after he started.
This is
Got
literally
him to
all
the
Eagles
playoffs, got
fans.
him to 6 seed in the first
Joey,
place. They go to Chicago, they
Joey,
beat the
the
Bills with
game
double
that
doink,
Carson
like the
Wentz
last
got
like,
injured,
drive
we
thing with
clinched the
Eagles.
NFC East. We were making playoffs.
This
What?
is literally all Eagles fans.
With
I'm
Michael-
telling you,
We
this is
were
all
11
Eagles
and
fans.
we were either 12-2 or I think we were 12-2 after we beat the Rams.
Yeah,
We clinched the NFC East.
yeah. Carson Wentz had a good season that year. Yes, it was a good season.
Yeah.
So what's
So
your point?
let me make my point.
He didn't win
So
the
then
Super
they get
Bowl.
rid of Nick
He
Foles.
didn't win
He's
the
like,
MVP.
okay, I proved
He
myself.
got hurt.
He gets this big contract. He's like, okay, now it's time to go to work. Okay.
And he
Then,
doesn't go to work.
Go to work.
then in the draft, they pick Jalen Hurts. And
No.
he's like,
You're skipping like 2 years. You're skipping 2 years of a lot of interceptions, like, and a pretty bad passer rating. But we got to move on.
listen,
Let's see.
all I'm going to say is our defense sucks. And so does Carson Wentz in our front office. So,
Speaking of another front office that is,
Yeah.
or not a front office, the front office is fine. Speaking of a situation where that really hasn't merged, Patriots destroyed Chargers. Chargers are
Interesting.
they got a great team and they somehow cannot string a single win together.
the Chargers are good.
Because
They
Bo and I
really
were
have a great-
Bo and I were talking on
This is-
Saturday, and he's like, "Oh, who do the Patriots play?" I'm like, "The Chargers." He's like, "Oh, tough game." I'm like, "Maybe, but I don't think so. The Chargers are kind of bad." And
This is
45
what I mean. This is what I mean.
35-0.
Everybody says about how these 3-win, 4-win, 5-win teams have such a great team, but they end up with 3, 4, 5 wins. This is what I don't get.
I understand what you're saying. I mean,
Decent
I mean, they don't-
offense, Their defense isn't good.
their defense. But
They have Derwin James. He's injured every year.
Derwin James is
I think that one cornerback, is he even there anymore?
King, Desmond King,
Yeah, no,
he's on
the
the
Hayward.
other guy.
Casey Hayward.
Yeah, that guy. Do you still like?
I don't think so. He's like 40
Yeah,
years old
see?
at this point. But no, I mean,
And then
'cause they
I couldn't
got
tell
Joey
you.
Bosa as a pass
Besides Joey Bosa, who's on the defensive line?
Just Jesus Christ.
But Bo, the issue is like it's not like they don't come close to winning. Like it's not like they get blown out every game. Like what's their name? The Eagles. Like they come close to winning games.
Blown out. Okay.
But the issue is like the Chargers did get blown out versus New England. This looked like a stain on their record. But they lose by 10 to the Bills and then win by 4 against the Jets. Like so you're losing by 10 to a 9-3 team, and then you're winning by 6 against an 0-12 team. They lost by 8 to the Dolphins, 5 to the Raiders. It was ruled a touchdown, but it got overturned after the game. All their games are so close. Lose by 1 to the Dolphins, lose by 3 to the Saints, lose by 7 to the Bucks, lose by 5 to the Panthers, lose by 3 to the Chiefs. Like they didn't lose a game this year besides New England and Buffalo, where they lost by more than 2 scores, including the Dolphins, the Raiders, the Broncos, who are kind of bad, the Saints, and the Bucks, and the Panthers. Like, they're right there, and they have a great quarterback, and they can put wins together, and they just don't.
Joey,
They just
can
don't.
I just say the Eagles don't get blown out?
Billy, I mean, you kind of do. Like,
Okay, let's look at this, Joey. Okay, I'm gonna look at all the games that we have
Back to the
lost.
Eagles.
I'm gonna look at all the games.
I'll
that
give
we
you
have
this,
Which is
and
a
then
lot.
we got to move on
This
because
is
we got to get
all
we
Eagles fans again.
got to get
Lose by
Mario.
9 with a garbage time touchdown against us, so we basically lost by 2. Lose by 2 to the Ravens. We would have tied them if Doug Peterson wasn't a bonehead.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Shut up and keep reading.
He picked a read option on
Shoulda,
defense,
woulda,
2-point
coulda.
conversion.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. If we caught all the passes against the football team, we would have won that game. That's what you're
No,
saying.
Chase
But we
Claypool's
didn't,
trash.
and you didn't. So shut up.
Chase Claypool's trash.
I mean, you lost by
You
14.
can
No, he
move
was
on.
just there.
I won't talk about the Eagles anymore.
I mean, the Seahawks was a 2-score game until that fluky thing. The Browns was a closer game. You guys played well. Lost by 10 to the Giants. You beat the Giants by 1. You lost by 2
Carson
to
Wentz was terrible
the
that Browns game.
Ravens. You lost by 9 to the Steelers. Then you somehow in that fluke game, y'all beat the 49ers.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
And then you guys got crushed by the Rams and then beat
Whoa.
by 10 versus Washington. Like, I mean, you guys aren't playing amazing. Like,
But we're not getting blown out, are we? Let's move on from the Eagles and let's talk about Chase Claypool.
oh, son of a gun! It's snowing hard.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yo.
Is it?
Yo.
This is the stupidest podcast ever.
I got to take a look.
Oh my God.
Oh. It is.
I might have to actually.
Whoa.
I might have to shovel.
No, it's not gonna stick.
Dude,
Alright,
it's sticking. I'm
talk
telling
about-
you, it's sticking at my house.
It better not
Look at
stick.
this.
I don't want to
Talk
shovel.
No,
about
look at this.
trash, Chase Claypool.
Look at this.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
if,
guys.
if it was,
Give me your predictions. Will the snow stick or not?
Of
Billy,
course, it's sticking
Your
out.
take.
Look at my screen. Look
And-
at my
Oh,
screen.
and that's
That's
interesting
It's
because
sticking.
I don't see like.
we're about
Oh,
to
wait.
get in.
Is that white things the streets?
you know the
Yes.
past few
No.
seasons, the snow has
Yo,
been
it's street.
disappointing. So hopefully it
It's
can
my
have a comeback
driveway.
here this year.
Okay. So I've been saying week 14. I'm a little wrong. It's been week 13, and now we're going on to week 14, and we're gonna start a big major game tomorrow, Thursday night. Patriots at the Rams. Patriots at the exact same stadium that they just played versus the Chargers. They beat them 45-0. Now you play the 8-4 Rams. LA's favorite
so
to win that
cold.
game. What are our thoughts? Patriots Rams.
Rams easy. I mean, the Patriots blowout against the Chargers. I think
mean-
that was a fluke. The Rams are still a good team
It's never going to be easy. But my issue is it's never going to be easy with New England because remember what happened in that.
because they have
Rams
Belichick.
by
and
Rams
Belichick
by
can carry it.
13.
Yeah.
Rams by 13.
Yeah, the Rams aren't going to win by more than 2 touchdowns. I think
No,
'Cause-
Rams by 13.
because this is the
I'm-
exact
I
same
say
Rams team that
Patriots
Bill
by
Belichick.
3, baby.
It's the exact same defense basically.
The all
Minus a
Eagles
couple
fans,
linebackers.
My God.
But it's because exact same Rams team that the Patriots held to 3 points in the Super Bowl. So Bill Belichick has a read on how to play Jared Goff. But I listened to a guy and he's exactly right about this. If you get pressure on Jared Goff, you will win, and if you don't get pressure on Jared Goff, you will lose. And
I'm
this
just
is
trying to prove a point here, Bill.
and the chat is you guys are really throwing me off. And but simply this, like you and yeah, I listen to this guy. I don't gamble, obviously. I'm underage, but
Yes, you
this guy-
do, Joey. Don't even count.
No, I don't.
What
We
is
all
that?
know.
What is- I just heard he's underage. What is
But,
it?
but,
He doesn't give consent.
but
He
there's this
doesn't
guy
give
who says
consent.
like Jared Goff and the Rams is a great live bet because you can tell by like the end of the first quarter, looking at Jared Goff's eyes, and you will tell if he feels like he can win or not. And if he looks good, then they will win. And if he does not, then
just
they will
think-
lose. And so
Rams are too inconsistent. Right?
the Rams are super inconsistent, and that's the difference. Like the Patriots, other than that one Broncos game, because Cam had COVID basically while he was still playing that game, Patriots have been pretty consistent since.
Let's just, besides the Rams Eagles game, because we weren't trying that game, that's why we lost. We look at the Rams, who they beat and who they lost to. They beat the Cowboys by 3. We beat them by 14. They lost to the Bills, which we would have lost to those too. They beat the Giants by 8. That's better than us.
So what team are you talking about in comparison to the Eagles?
The Rams.
The Rams.
You can't claim that the Eagles are better than the Rams.
No,
I'm
you
just
can't.
gonna stop listening to you at that
The
point.
only reason
But-
why they
but
beat us by
I-
18
again,
is
this
we
is
weren't
all
trying.
Eagles
The
fans. I'm
entire
gonna
game,
keep saying it.
we
But-
just,
but yeah,
like,
but-
were out there. We're just
But
like,
Billy, shut up. Like they beat the Cardinals, they lost to the 49ers, beat the Bucks, beat the Seahawks, lost to the Dolphins,
but here's
beat
what
the
I'm
Bears,
saying,
lost to
Joey.
the 49ers, beat Washington, beat Giants, lost to Bills, beat Eagles,
Joey,
like lost to Cowboys.
They lost to the 49ers twice. We beat the 49ers.
But what I'm saying is this is a good team. Like
Yeah, but they're inconsistent.
They-
What if one of their bad games?
because the
in
49ers
this
can run
week?
the ball and play defense. And that's the way to beat the Rams. And you know what New England can do? They can run the ball and play defense. You don't have to throw the ball to beat the Rams. So I think this is going to be a close game simply because the Patriots play a lot like the 49ers. The 49ers won twice versus the Rams. I would still say that the Rams are probably going to win, but I'd say it's going to be close. It's definitely going to be under 2 scores. Okay,
The
another big
Patriots
game.
fan, this
The
week, they're gonna
Cardinals-
win, baby.
The Cardinals are on a couple game skid. They play the hot 5-7 Giants in
Oh
New
yeah,
York.
they're so hot.
Oh, the
wow.
hot 5-7 Giants.
They beat
Stacked.
the Seahawks. NFC
Arizona.
Cardinals by
Arizona
Cardinals
favorite.
by Cardinals by 21.
No
Kyler
way.
Murray is just gonna dump on one of them.
Oh,
I doubt 21.
Kyler
though.
Murray is so good.
But this-
21.
Okay. I got you there. Vikings at Bucks. Vikings have come back and they were playing pretty bad earlier in the season. Play a little better since. Tampa Bay favorite to win. It's in Tampa. Buccaneers off a bye.
Listen,
Vi- Vi-
all right.
Vikings by 3,
To
and
be honest,
Dalvin Cook MVP. Dalvin
I
Cook for
completely
MVP.
forgot that the Vikings existed.
A
This
lot of
season,
people
I
have.
just I had no idea that the Vikings were even a thing anymore.
I love
So-
the Vikings. Do you want to know why I like the
You're not
Vikings
the
so
only one.
much?
You're not the only one. Okay.
Do you want to know why I like the Vikings so much, Joey?
Why? Justin Jefferson?
Because of Kirk Cousins, baby.
Oh, primetime Kirk, baby. He's all the way back.
But
Okay.
also, we beat them 38-7 in the NFC Championship,
Yeah. That was
and
like-
also they gave us a playoff spot by losing to the Bears.
This is turning
We beat
into
the Bears in the playoffs.
this is turning into an Eagles podcast.
Billy, I will mute you. Hey, Titans. Chiefs. 11-1 Chiefs at the 8-4 Dolphins. That's gonna be a good game.
To be honest, I didn't know the Dolphins were 8-4. I thought they were like 6-6
Dolphins.
or
Yeah,
something.
Dolphins are good this year. Patriots beat them first game of the
I wouldn't say
season,
they're good.
but yeah, they've definitely gotten better since. I don't think Tua offers so much more than Fitzpatrick, but why not? I think Chiefs win that game. Chiefs back.
Yeah,
in the,
easy.
Chiefs back in the stadium that they won the Super Bowl in.
Gonna be closer than everybody thinks.
Oh, it's gonna be close. Yeah.
But Chiefs by 10. Chiefs by 10.
I mean, Chiefs are coming
Yeah,
off a
yeah.
like a freezing temp game in Kansas City, and they go down to steaming Miami. Like I think it's harder to win.
I just think Chiefs are gonna start looking not as good as everybody else thinks.
Okay.
They're gonna come out of this bubble.
There's an interesting point though. There's a kind of theory that the Chiefs like to play with their food a little bit. Like they like
definitely.
to bait him in and then be like, oh, never mind,
definitely.
you lost.
That's what happened versus the Broncos. And I don't think the Chiefs were ever going to lose that game, but it was definitely too close for comfort for a lot of Chiefs fans.
Did that happen with the Raiders twice?
What?
I
I'm
mean,
just saying.
if you
Lost
look at
That's
the
their-
playoff
that's their
game
one
last
loss.
year against the Texans,
That's
they're down by
that's the one game that they
24, and they
lost.
just come back.
They
without
played
trying.
bad they played bad in that game. I don't know about the
And
Raiders.
yet
but
everybody else is talking about how the Steelers played bad against the football team.
I mean, the Raiders
they
have been
lost.
The
playing.
Raiders are definitely a better team than the football team.
Yeah, definitely. They would smoke the football team. Well,
yeah,
maybe
those
not,
Raiders
maybe
really
not when
beat up
you're
on those
maybe
Jets.
not when
They
you're losing
really
by
beat up
40
on those
to
Jets
Atlanta.
there. Holy wow, they really beat up on those Jets this week.
I mean,
They're
at
such
least
a
they
good
beat
team.
them.
Yeah,
They beat them because the defensive
Okay.
coordinators.
Okay, moving on.
mean, you
Derek
beat the
Carr is a
Redskins.
bad man. That is
okay,
all I'll
yeah,
say.
Yeah, another big game. The 0-12 Jets take on the 8-4 Seahawks in Seattle. Who do we have for that one, guys?
Oh, that's a real big game.
Seattle looking like they
Holy.
can lose to anybody at this point.
Dude,
They
Yeah,
not
beat
the
the
Jets.
Cardinals last week. didn't
Se-
they?
Se-
I'm
Seattle
joking.
by 24 or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
If we could be so wrong, we could be eating our words next Wednesday.
Nah.
Eight
I don't
and four
think
Colts. 8-4 Colts at the 7-5 Raiders. Raiders have had two really bad games the last 2 weeks.
So the
Um,
Colts.
Yeah,
Never
Indianapolis
really liked
favored
the
to win.
Raiders,
I
to
have
be
the
honest.
Colts. Yeah,
I think this is gonna be a one possession game. I think is Josh Jacobs healthy for this game?
he
think
was
that's the
out last
deciding
game, but it
factor.
was more of a game time decision. So my guess is
Mhm.
he will play. That's my guess.
All right, then I've taken the Raiders by 2.
Okay.
I think Josh Jacobs.
Dude, this
is their
podcast is
best
going to be like a
weapon.
2-hour-long marathon.
Yeah, it's not 2 hours long. This is like normal podcast length, Eddie.
Yeah, this is like
Educating
this is,
you
this
on
has
a
been, like, I
podcast
don't
in
know,
the middle of a
like
podcast.
45 minutes.
Well, I mean, I listen to podcasts. I just listen to
Oh, yeah.
them for 15 minutes and then I kind of forget what it says.
Okay. Hey, you can't. No one's ever gonna check out of our podcast.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
until
mean,
they
nobody's
hear the
gonna
Eagles
listen to
section.
it
Until
either.
they hear the Eagles section.
This could be. Yeah, I know. This could. I'll put timestamps in so anybody who wants to just skip over the Eagles section,
You could just skip
the
over
Eagles
me
section.
talking about
Okay.
the Eagles.
There are going to
Um,
be multiple Eagles sections.
Okay. This is maybe the best 5-7 game all year. The 5-7 Washington football team at the 5-7 San Francisco 49ers. Like what?
Football team by 13.
No, I think.
Whoa!
49ers.
Oh my
And I think,
word!
and I
No.
Football
think,
team by
I
13.
think
They're on a
I
hot
think,
streak.
uh,
This is a team that's going to have a
49ers
late
are so
comeback and
much
win a
better.
division.
I think it's
No.
going to be funny
Yeah, of course.
when
There's only 2 teams left.
Bo
There are only
looks
2
at
teams
the
left.
schedule and they see that they beat his undefeated team that's not undefeated anymore, and then they lose to the
Oh, they're
49ers,
so
which
good.
we beat. I think
Yeah.
it's just going to be funny.
But Bo, it's gonna be poetic
So-
justice when like you say, "Oh, Washington's so we lost to Washington, and Washington, a solid team," and they go out, they
I
lose
know,
to the
I know,
49ers,
I get
like
this,
every
I
single
get this,
game the
but the
rest of the year.
49ers are still missing Jimmy G. and what's his
Um,
name?
they might be coming
I don't
Who's
back.
the
think
tight
they're
end?
crying
Kittle.
over not having Jimmy G. To be honest,
They might be coming back. I heard.
Who's the
this
tight
week.
end? I forget his name.
George Kittle.
George.
Yeah,
Second
George
best
Kittle.
tight end-
Yeah, they're
second
missing
best
that.
tight end in the league. Yeah. Um,
I that's debatable.
Who do you have as your first best tight end? Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelsey,
Yeah, who's
100%.
hmm
He's also
Debatable.
thick and thin on my fantasy team this year. Most consistent
I
performer. I love
think
Travis.
Travis Kelsey is better, but I think if I was making a team, I'd take George Kittle because he's fast.
Yeah,
No,
and he can block better too. He can
Darren
block
Waller.
Yeah.
Travis Kelsey is the best merge between pass catching and pass blocking and
He's a
run
big
blocking.
reception guy.
I mean,
But
there's something to be said
George-
about
George-
Travis Kelsey has Patrick Mahomes, and anyone who plays with Patrick
Yes,
Mahomes is going to
no,
look substantially better.
No, you're definitely right, but I think Travis Kelsey is the best because he can run short, he can run deep, he can pass block, he can run block, and he can do it all well. George Kittle is
I think
more
that
for.
George Kittle can do the exact same.
I don't think George Kittle's as good when he goes out for deeper passes, but he's definitely. I'd say he's a little bit of a better pass blocker, and he does the short stuff very well inside 10 yards. He's automatic. Darren Waller is the best pass catching tight end. 200 yards and 3 touchdowns this week for the Raiders. He's really good. He's like
He got like 47 points in fantasy.
yeah. He has like 4.4 speed. He's
All
legitimately
right. We gotta clean this up.
yeah.
Come on.
Okay. Saints at Eagles. Saints win by 1,000.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football. 11-1 Steelers
Nah.
at 9-3 Bills.
Nah.
I have no idea who's gonna win that game. That's gonna be
a good one.
That's gonna
I'm
be-
calling Bills,
I think-
though. I'm calling Bills.
I think personally, OT, Bills and OT.
oh.
think
Bills
As a
win.
Steelers
Yeah.
fan, that's big.
That's insane.
Watching Josh Allen this week.
Josh Allen's really good.
That's an
Bills versus
MVP
who?
caliber. That
I
that's
don't
an
think he's
MVP
MVP
versus
caliber.
Steelers, Billy. Steelers.
No,
Bills.
if you watch that
Bills
game,
versus
if you
Steelers?
watch that game, he
Oh.
just absolutely just
Buffalo
dogged on the
favorite to win.
49ers.
Buffalo favorite to win.
I'm
And
saying
then- yeah,
Steelers
they're
win,
only-
and all the
they're only
Steelers
favored to
fans
win because
on
the Steelers just
Instagram
lost.
are going to be back to the shushing emojis. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I know.
I've gotten
okay,
kind of annoyed
and-
at that.
and then-
like,
and
I'm not
then-
going to call people out, but Joey, can I?
Go ahead.
Everyone is. All the Steelers fans are like, "Oh yeah, we beat this person, we beat this team, etc." And then the moment they lose, it's like, "Oh
They're
well,
like,
our entire defense was injured. It's the football
Dude,
team.
Dude,
You don't need your entire defense."
Jan Hoy on his
Oh, I
Instagram.
know.
He put like
threw
some
2
sort of
balls to
quote.
Terry
It's like,
McLaurin. They threw 2 balls
it's
to
not
their best
how
wide
hard you get
receiver.
knocked down. It's how hard you. It's how you get back up.
I know. Trust me, Steelers fans on social media are obnoxious, and it just makes me mad coming
Yeah,
from a
Steelers fan in the Zoom are also obnoxious. So
So are any single Patriots fan. I don't get your point.
okay. And then Monday Night Football, Ravens at the Browns. I think Ravens potentially lose
No.
by like 28. Like I think the Browns.
I don't
No.
think it's gonna be
Browns are taking
28,
it
and this is
back
coming
off.
from the
No.
Browns.
It's going to be a one possession game.
I don't think
I
it's
think
gonna be one possession.
Browns by 5. Browns by 5.
I think like Browns by like 12, 14, somewhere in there.
You just said 28. What's your point?
I was making a point that I don't think that we're talking. I don't think that we're talking about it like just like the Steelers and the Bills. That's going to be a very competitive. Like I can't make a point prediction because it's really going to come down to who wins. Like it's going to be in the margins. I think
It's going to come down to Baker, honestly.
The
It's going to
Browns-
come down to Baker.
The Browns
Yeah,
are
it's-
much better.
Whenever the Browns lose, because Baker's trash.
And whenever they blow a team out, it's because Baker's looking like an MVP caliber player.
Exactly. And if Baker looks okay, I think they can still beat the Ravens.
Exactly.
So we're gonna go to the final part of the podcast. This segment is one that I came up with at dinner, thinking about what can we do, and it is
Joey,
called
Joey, just
For Real. The letter for the word real. I'm talking about weird stories that are true, and are they for real? They are. And I'm gonna go around and get everyone's take on them. This is these are all from the New York Post. So if you want to go check
They
them
are
out, you can.
for real.
Okay, here we go. For real number 1. I'm just gonna read the headline. Wildlife expert poses as elderly woman to trap aggressive turkey. Billy, what are your thoughts? That is for real.
He dressed as a. He dressed as a what?
I thought this was a
Old
sports
lady?
segment.
Wildlife
Yes, as an
expert
old
poses
lady.
as elderly woman to trap
And is
aggressive turkey.
the expert a man?
What? I
Is
don't.
the expert a man?
I'll look. Hold on. Bo, what's your thoughts just off that headline?
should never happen. I don't get That just doesn't make sense.
Okay, in that story, nicknamed Gerald, the belligerent bird ruffled the feathers of Oakland residents for about 5 months, pouncing on visitors to the neighborhood's Morecambe Rose Garden. Are they just letting this thing walk like whatever he
It's a
wants?
turkey.
Joey,
It's a
Joey, please answer
turkey.
my question.
Officials were
You
forced to
eat it.
close the park
You
in
kill it
June
and
out of
eat it.
concern out of concern for public safety. This turkey is like a
You
darn
literally, oh my god,
assassin.
Joey.
people! I swear to God, people are just. Oh my, you kill
Joey,
the
answer my
turkey
question.
and you put
What?
it on dinner.
Is the expert a guy?
I think he is. The turkey
Okay.
is the turkey is a guy.
My take
Oh
is
no
if he,
no
if
no!
he-
The expert is a woman.
Okay,
Rebecca
Oh.
Dementric.
so my take
How old
is
is this lady?
good on her. She
I
should
don't
get a
know.
raise.
Yeah, she should get a raise. I mean, that
If
that
it was
is
a
commendable.
guy, I was gonna say he should come outside.
Okay, next one. Childhood mosquito bite. Okay, childhood mosquito bite leaves man with leg the size of a tree trunk. Oh my word! This is what the
Is there a
heck?
picture of Saquon Barkley?
You're
I've
right.
had big mosquito
Here,
bites before.
Let's see.
Saquon
Oh, no.
Barkley, not Saquon.
This is
Saquon.
insane. If you could see that, if you could see this picture, this is crazy. He can't walk because of this mosquito bite he got. Okay. Okay. Next one. Let's see. Oh, sacre fly. Frenchman blows up part of house while chasing bug. Okay.
Dude.
An elderly
He threw a
Frenchman
grenade
blew
at
up part
him?
of his house while chasing a fly. The 82-year-old was sitting down to dinner Friday evening in Dordogne, I guess, in southwest France, when the bug came buzzing, local outlets reported. So he began swatting at it with an electric racket designed to
Oh, that
kill
would be it.
insects, not realizing that a gas canister was leaking in his home. This idiot. The reaction between the racket and the gas sparked an explosion, destroying the kitchen and part of the roof. Fortunately, the octogenarian, that means he's 80 years old, sustained only a slight burn to his hand. He blew out his house and yet only sustained a slight burn to his hand. This guy's a legend.
Dude, I'm
But yeah,
I'm
this
gonna
guy's a
need one of
legend
those
by
fly
blowing up
swatter
his
things.
house. Oh yeah, he's a legend by blowing up his house. That really makes sense.
It sounds pretty sick to me.
Oh yeah, and this one has been, and we'll finish with this one. This has been going around for a little bit now. 88-year-old man survives fall into Long Island cesspool. This was gone around for a while. So he was at his North Bay Shore home in Suffolk County when he plunged into the sinkhole that was formed as he was weed whacking, police said. The senior grabbed hold of the weed whacker's electrical cord to keep his head above the waist as he waited for help. Non-life-threatening injuries, but he literally fell into a sinkhole of, you know what, Billy?
Yeah.
If that was you, what would your first reaction be?
Like if I fell down the hole, poop.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing I do, you know how dolphins, like, you know what I mean? So I'd probably do something like that. Then, you know, whenever you're at a pool and like, you pretend to be like a water fountain. So
What are you talking? This is the best
And
segment.
this again, people, listen. This is coming from an Eagles fan
This is
again.
an Eagles
I'm just
fan.
saying.
Just cut out that part.
no, you just take a gulp and you just like spit it out like you're a water fountain.
Okay, I said that was gonna be the last one, but I lied. This one is crazy. North Carolina couple cooking pizza accidentally chars snake.
Good for them.
The snake somehow found a way inside the oven, and they 10 minutes into cooking their pizza, they noticed a foul smell coming from the oven. This is from the person who cooked it. I opened up the oven and thought, is that part of the oven? I looked more closely and it was a snake.
Cheers.
I mean, talk about not even realizing what's in your own home. If there was a snake in my oven, I don't know what I would do, but I would definitely realize it before I put the pizza in. Like, I don't know what this woman's doing to get a snake inside the oven, but I mean, and this was in New York. I mean, this was in New York.
As long as it's not raw and sold in China, then
I thought you just said it was in South Carolina.
Did I say it was in South Carolina?
North
Yeah.
Carolina.
In North Carolina.
North Carolina. There you go. I mean, these aren't snakes just walking around in North Carolina and just finding their way into ovens. I mean, this
sounds very intentional, Joey.
Town abandons New Year's Eve possum drop after outcry, so they drop a possum and kill it every New Year's Eve.
Good for them.
This is crazy. We can't keep doing this, but this is pretty awesome. Okay, make sure to tune into this episode for real next week as well. That's a fun segment.
For real.
We still really haven't learned what Billy would do if he fell.
I think it
into a
is very
sinkhole.
clear.
I think we've learned, Joey. Listen, Joey.
Okay, guys,
first,
thanks for
you
listening.
dolphin dive. 2, you become a fountain. And 3,
Eagles fans,
you
shut up.
fate and drown.
Shut up. Shut
Okay.
up. Shut up.
You drown.
Everybody,
I know where you live. I'll come over and smack you.
Thanks for listening to this episode,
You
episode
drowned
1 of the For the Boys
in the
Sports
poop.
Podcast. Be sure to check us out on all our platforms: Apple, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud. Subscribe, rate, and review. It helps us out immensely. Thanks for listening. And Eddie, before we go, do you want a slight preview of what's gonna go on our music podcast on all these same channels?
I mean, I think it'll be a lot more casual because I probably won't be able to control these dudes as much as Joey can. But essentially, we got a big Friday coming up. We got Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon 3. We got a Channel Trace EP. We got Jack Harlow, and hopefully that ends up being all right. So we'll probably end up discussing
of course it's
that,
gonna be all
and
right.
we'll see what happens. I mean,
I don't like Jack Harlow.
all right, we'll see what
Says
happens.
the
Yep.
Eagles fan.
Sounds
Says
good.
the Eagles fan, man.
Same time, same place next week. Thanks for listening, guys. See ya.
Peace.